Hey guys, what's up? This is the Smooth Spy, and E3 is officially over. All the big news is come and gone, and now it's time for me to talk about everything. And I gotta say, what an amazing E3! I gotta say, after watching E3 the past few years, I gotta say this have to be probably the best E3 in probably, I don't know. It's been a really long time since we have an E3 this amazing. I mean, wow. Yeah, I didn't want to make a video. It was all said and over because I had to collect my thoughts and everything. I didn't want to have another video like last time with Fallout 3, like me just having a fanboy out about the game. I wanted to get all the information. There's a lot of information to go through, but gone through it all. And now I'd like to discuss my thoughts about the E3 conference and who won who won this year's E3 as far as between Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. So let's get started, shall we? So before E3, I made my video talking about who I thought was in the best spot to win E3 and what they should do if they wanted to win and all that. So if you guys watched it, I understand if you didn't, but if you did, you heard that I said that Microsoft was in a really good spot to just hit this a nail on the head because Sony really didn't have a lot coming up this fall, and they could just have all those exclusives coming out coming out this year, and just knock it out of the park. And guess what? They did. Okay, wow. Microsoft did an amazing 180. I mean, they had a really, really good showing at E3. I mean, these guys were on top during the Xbox 360, but if you go back and watch those press conferences, it's mainly about Kinect and yeah, the game here and Kinect. They were really going for that Kinect, and when the Xbox One came out, it's all about TV. We are the only thing you'll need in your living room. It's got Kinect. It's got a DVR. You can watch cable on it. Skype. Games? No, they didn't have anything about games. But they realized that they were making a huge mistake, and the fans rose up. They saw everybody was going for the on Team Sony because they actually were doing what everybody wanted. They just wanted the games. So what did Microsoft do? They actually listened. They took back their stuff. They took back their DRM. They took back their, oh no, Kinect will always be online. It'll always be connected. But no, and they took that down. They cut down the cost, which was another big thing. And then they just started going games. I mean, at the last E3, you didn't even hear anything about Kinect. You didn't hear anything about TV. It was games, because they know what their fans want, and they had it. And they had so many good exclusives, or even if there were timed exclusives, that's going to make a difference when it comes to this holiday. And they, of course, dropped a huge bombshell. Yeah, backwards compatibility with Xbox 360, that's huge, guys. I mean, I know a bunch of you may not think, well, I just want to play all the new games. There are a whole bunch of people who haven't upgraded yet, and that's going to be the deciding factor, because Xbox 360 was the thing to have at last gen. There were some who had the PlayStation 3. Yeah, I mean, sure, but as far as who won last gen, it was Xbox 360, and there were so many amazing games out there for it, and now the backwards compatible. Now, it's not for every game, but there are going to be 100 games by this fall. It's right now in beta, if you're in the little... excuse me. If you're in your little... if you are in their advanced beta testing thing, you can actually try it out right now. But if not, just wait. It'll come out this fall with 100 games, and they're going to be adding them because it's like they're emulating them. So they have to go on a game by game thing, but they have to get the okay from the developer on the game, which when I heard that, I was thinking, okay, that's for them to for those, because there are going to be some devs who are like, no, we've got a HD remaster that's out. We don't want to release because that's going to cut into the profits, because they're making a whole bunch more on the remaster than they would on selling the old one. But it's still a great thing because I tell you, that was one of the big things that I didn't like about the upcoming gen. So it's also another reason I went onto the PC, because with PC I could play the original Half-Life from 1999, and then in a few clicks be playing The Witcher 3, and they're all both on the same screen, and that's what I love. But anyway, this is not about the PC. This is about Xbox, but yeah, they killed it. They had their exclusive lineup. They had Halo 5, which I think looked good, but I didn't like how they took away the split screen co-op, because for me that was a big deal with the Halos. Be able to have your friends over all playing. I understand everybody likes to go online now, but I thought that took away kind of the old school feel of Halo. And yeah, so I mean, but yeah, Halo 5 is going to do well coming out this year, and then of course you had your Gears of War remaster, which is actually coming to Windows 10 PCs, which I think is awesome. Anyway, they also had their timed exclusive Rise of the Tomb Raider, even though they said exclusive. That word was thrown around a whole bunch, even though it's a timed exclusive. They haven't announced when it's going to come out for everything, for any other platforms, but it is going to. Even when they asked, Xbox One and Xbox 360, which really is a red flag, 'cause that means the game isn't going to be quite what it all could be. So that's kind of a shame, but it'll still be amazing, just not quite as much as it could be. The same thing I had about the Black Ops 3 thing. I had a video about that. Anyway, we're not going to go to that. So I think Microsoft did an amazing job at this year's E3, and oh yeah, and they also talked about how Fallout 4 mods will be able to be brought over from the PC into Fallout 4. Now, I'm going to have a video specifically about this topic because I want to discuss the ins and outs of this, because I think it's interesting. And yeah, so be on the lookout for a video about that in the coming days if you want to hear more about that in depth. But it's very cool stuff, and I don't know if it'll happen with on the PS4, because of both Xbox One and the PCs will be on Windows 10. I don't know if it'll be like a crossover thing like that, which is I think is cool. But I hope it could also come onto PlayStation, because mods are great for everybody, and if mods could be all around, that's cool. Anyway, gonna be moving on next to Nintendo. I want to get them out of the way first, because to be honest, they're it was horrible. I don't know if you guys watched it. I started watching it. Came out, and they had Muppets of all the main guys. I mean, Reggie doing Nintendo 63, Nintendo 64. I mean, oh my gosh. I imagine there's some who enjoyed it, but I was face-palming myself at that point. All they really showed was Star Fox, which doesn't have a multiplayer. In 2015, a game that would work well in a multiplayer situation, it doesn't have it. So, yeah. Yeah, and what else did they show? Not really much. They mainly showed games off for their 3DS. They didn't show Zelda either, which, if they're going to show a game, yeah, show that. They showed Mario Maker, which in my opinion is cool. If I was going to be getting any of those games, it would be that. I don't really care much for the Star Fox, but Mario Maker looks kind of fun, because I do love old school Mario, and I do love to create stuff, so I think that would be a cool experience. But that's really about it. This year has some little stuff, but it's mainly for 3DS or whatnot. There wasn't anything really big, and they didn't talk about anything coming out later. It was very bare-boned, and it's clear that they're just trying to hold their ground until next year, when they can talk about their NX. So they're just trying to hold off. So next year, I think they'll have a good E3. They'll talk about the NX. They'll have Zelda, a Wii U out there. And I think that's when they could have a time to shine. But this year, no, it was horrible. And like half the thing was talking about how they made some of the games, and that's not what you want to see. Like E3 isn't about a dev diary talking about, this game had the idea from when I was young and la la la. Sure, that's really cool, but it's not what E3 guys want to see. They want to see gameplay. They want to see features and things to be excited about. So yeah, Nintendo, no, you failed miserably at this E3. Yeah. All right, now then, let's go on to the final one of the year, which is Sony. After this, I will be giving my opinion on who won E3, and then you guys can argue about it down below in the comments of why I'm wrong, apparently. So anyway, let's get on with the final one. So Sony had some big shoes to fill. They're currently in the lead with in the sales go, and Xbox had an amazing conference. I mean, the backwards compatibility, all their games, Fallout 4 mods. I mean, they had some big shoes to fill. And they didn't have anything coming out this fall except for the Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection. That's all they really had. So, yeah, I mean, what exactly are... oh, yeah, and you got a God of War 3 remaster. But once again, all with remastered, anything original. So... what are they going to do? Well, they freaking pull out The Last Guardian. I don't know about everybody else, but when I saw the game starting up, my jaw hit the floor. I mean, it's not like I'm such a huge fan, like, but this game has been like this little myth of a game. That is it coming out? No. Is it being worked on? No. Is it canceled? Well, no. But is it coming out? No. Well, yeah, I don't. You know, it's just like, what was up with this game? You know, this game is 5 years late, if I believe, if I have that timing right. 5 years late. I mean, my gosh, this game, wow. I mean, and then it comes out. I mean, just out of the blue at the start of the conference. Yeah. Forget everything else. Just, oh, yeah, here's The Last Guardian. I mean, what the crap? And as I'm not a big fan of Shadow of the Colossus. I just haven't really gotten into it. I've heard really amazing things about it, but from what I've heard, this is what a whole bunch of everybody wanted. I noticed that the graphics weren't exactly on par with how they could be, but that's because this game was built, during the the lifetime of the PlayStation 3. So I mean, I don't think the graphics are going to be as good as it could be because this game is an older game. That's what happens when you're doing older games. You can't just like tear down the whole game and rebuild it. But it looks fine. There's some people like saying it looks terrible, but I think it looks fine. So, and plus, gameplay over graphics, right? Everybody says that, and then everybody has to complain about the graphics. Anyway, so after that, they talked a whole bunch about games. They mainly were talking about their third-party little timed exclusive deals, and they showed something that was really cool for me. I don't know if it was for everybody else, but a new Hitman. I love Hitman. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And Last One Absolution wasn't as good as the ones before that, but it was still a really good game. I don't care what anybody says. It was still a good game. Just it lacked the openness of the older ones. I love that open sandbox. Here's your target. Select your gear. Go kill him in any way you want. That was what I loved about the older ones. And that's what they're doing with this one. It looks epic, and I just can't wait. It's coming out this year to December 8th. So Hitman, yeah, December 8th, yeah. Anyway, then they dropped their other bombshell, yeah, because they had 3 in this. So they went and announced another game that's been, like, infamous as far as is it coming out or not, and that's the Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's not a remaster, it's a remake. They're going to totally redo the game, like, from the ground up. It's not like some remaster where it's just the same game, except it's now 1080p, it's 60 frames per second. No, this one's totally redone, like, a whole new engine. They're going to change some of the story and the gameplay elements, which I think is fine. Because as long as they do it right and they don't screw up something, because I would hate for that, like, my old school favorite game to just be like, oh yeah, here is a new one, where like all the fun stuff that you actually liked the old one, yeah, that's gone. So I'm really hoping that they will actually do a really good job with this. I mean, they're walking a very fine line, but like the crowd was going nuts when they saw that. I mean, when I saw the end and I saw the swords, because I'm not a big Final Fantasy 7 guy, like I think it's cool enough. I actually haven't gone back and gone through it. So yeah, I know, hate me, but hey, this game works for me because I missed that game back then, but now I get a chance to experience it. So hopefully it'll be the true and messed up game that everybody has loved all these years, and I'm really excited for it. Now, one thing that a whole bunch of people were talking about, they were thinking that the Final Fantasy VII remake is going to be a PlayStation 4 exclusive, but they said coming first to PlayStation. First, not exclusively, so it will be releasing another thing, same as Rise of the Tomb Raider. That's not an Xbox exclusive, it's a first on Xbox. So keep that in mind. I don't know if it'll be coming till just like onto the PC or and then onto Xbox, but it was in the Sony, so I'm fairly sure they're going to want to try and keep it away from Xbox as much as I can. So it might just be going onto the PC afterward, which I mean I'd be okay with because I'm on the PC. But who knows what'll happen? Perhaps it'll go to all of the platforms. It's a fairly large game. That'd be a lot of cash to hold down for an exclusive. But hey, it could happen because Sony really needs those exclusives. But it wasn't coming out this year, so still, it's not. And then they showed off some indie games, just like in Xbox. Some indie games coming to exclusively or first on the PlayStation. And then No Man's Sky came out and showed the big and how huge the game is. And I think the game is very cool. But I'm kind of concerned about what exactly you're going to be doing in the game. I mean, sure, it's huge, but if it's just huge and empty and there's not really a whole lot to do besides, walk around. Ooh, here's some grass. I'm going to go and put that in a book. Okay, the grass is in a book. Let's fly to the next thing. Oh, this one has an alien bird. Okay, let's just put that and keep doing that for endless. That would get old real fast, in my opinion. If they don't have some really cool elements to the game to keep you going back and doing stuff, or I see the game getting very old. I'm more interested. I'm getting off topic. I always get off topic. That's what happens when I don't have a script. I just go way everywhere. Anyway, all right. On to the third bombshell that Sony dropped that I also couldn't believe. This is one of those games where everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, what the heck?" Because now, first, after all this, when they were about to show it, I was thinking, "Oh my gosh, is this Half-Life 3?" If Valve comes out and says, "Yeah, Half-Life 3 confirmed coming out tomorrow," I would have lost it. I mean, I would have been taking off my clothes, running out the window, insane. But that would have been too good to be true. Half-Life 3 is still that game that we are always looking for. But the game that they did announce, Shenmue 3. I mean, who would have thought this game was back on the Sega Dreamcast, way back then, when Sega was still in the console business right before they tanked, and the game was known to be a very expensively made game, but a very well-loved game among fans, and it's a very old game, and a whole bunch of people haven't heard about it, but those who have been infamously waiting on the third one to end the cliffhanger, and finally it's been announced, but it's been announced for a Kickstarter for $2 million for the game to be funded. I mean, Sony, why didn't you fund this game yourself? That's what everybody was asking. Like, he's on the stage and they're like, "All right, we're gonna help this game get fun," and they're standing there with cash. I understand that Sony isn't in the best spot, but to secure that game for a exclusive would be huge. But I don't know. Perhaps they are, because I mean, $2 million is not enough to make that game. I mean, one of the earlier games would cost like $73 million to make. This was way back then in the 90s. So I believe it was the late 90s, maybe the early 2000s. Sorry if I'm wrong. Someone correct me down in the comments area. But back then, that amount of cash, yeah, $2 million is not going to do it. And they say the true Shenmue 3 experience we've been waiting for. So it's not some old, it could be on the PlayStation 1. Yeah, no, it should be a real AAA game. So they got cash coming from somewhere else. I think that the Kickstarter was just like a test to see if the game was really wanted. And yeah, it was. The $2 million was filled within 12 hours of its launching. I mean, it's obvious because this game has been wanted for so long, and Kickstarter's been a great way for those things who just need that much extra push to happen. So I think this was just a test of faith to see what's gonna happen. I'm sure like they had some guys, all right, to tell you what, we'll help you with the game, with the funding, but you have to show us that there are fans who are willing to put cash down for this game. So I'm sure Sony was then like, hey, this is a good spot for us to come out and have something really cool to announce. So yeah, now as of what it'll be on, well, obviously it'll be on the PlayStation, but as far as other stuff, I don't know. They weren't specifically partnered with Sony, so I mean, it could go on all other stuff, which I hope they re-release the first two on the PC and also on the PC. Oh, I'm on the PC, so obviously I want it, but you know, I'm hoping they do a release the first two, because there are a whole bunch of people, including myself, who haven't gone back through the game in so long. Because I mean, playing on that console, the Sega Dreamcast, yeah, that's ancient. So there aren't a whole lot who have those consoles still. It's not like on the PlayStation where those games actually went somewhere. You know, as far as a new console. So yeah, hopefully they'll do that, and we'll see when it comes out. But yeah, the game is just now being funded, so it'll be started. Yeah, you know, it'll be a while before it comes out. But yeah, and then of course they ended with their Uncharted 4 gameplay, which looks really good. I always have good faith in Naughty Dog. So anyway, that was a Sony press conference, and now it's time for me to say who won. Everybody did really well. The best, of course, was the Bethesda, Microsoft, Sony. EA did good. I mean, I really loved seeing Mirror's Edge and the Mass Effect, and of course Star Wars. Yeah, all is really good. Everything else is sports. You know, I'm not a big sports guy. I know there are some out there. There are a whole bunch, obviously, but it's not me. I could have slept through all that, to be honest. And then let's talk about mobile. Yeah, that was the time when everybody was like, oh, time for a nap. But anyway, Nintendo didn't do so well, but you know, it's kind of expected. They're just trying to hold their spot. So anyway, as far as who won, get ready to attack me, but I'd have to say Microsoft. I know. Go ahead, hate me down in the comments if you will, but hear me out, okay? So a lot of what Sony announced wasn't an exclusive. I mean, they have their Horizon, which it looks awesome, but it's not coming out this fall. You have Uncharted 4. It looks amazing, not coming out this fall. Backwards compatibility, no. They have their PlayStation Now, which has you rent the games that you already own for the most part, just to have them. Yeah, it's just a ripoff, and like stuff like No Man's Sky, it's not an exclusive. Final Fantasy VII Remake, not an exclusive. I mean, even Shenmue 3 isn't exactly an exclusive. It hasn't been confirmed an exclusive. So there's, yeah, I mean, all they really had was The Last Guardian's not coming out this year, and you had Uncharted 4, and of course you had Horizon. All those games where Microsoft has Halo 5, Rise of the Tomb Raider. They've got the Rare game bundle thing. I mean, they had a lot, and to top it off with, they had backwards compatibility, which is a big deal for others, and they're $50 less than a PlayStation 4. I mean, they had a really good E3. So I have to give it to guys at Xbox. They've done a full 180 from where they were just a few years ago, and they've gone from being the guys hated to where they're actually, you know, I mean, this is why competition is amazing, because Xbox was doing what they were doing because they were on top. They were like, we don't care, everybody will just buy whatever because we are Xbox, blah, blah, blah. But then everybody was like, no, I'm going to go get a PlayStation 4 because you suck. And they're like, oh crap, this is actually going to affect us. Okay, what's everybody saying? We need this. Okay, have it done. Because Xbox and Microsoft has cash. They can throw cash at a problem. Oh, they say we don't have games? Take this cash. We have games now. Oh, backwards compatibility? Impossible? Figure it out. Cash, cash, cash. It's possible! So, they are willing to spend the cash and the time to get the things that the gamers want until they can be back on top. Once they're back on top, I'm sure that they go back to doing stuff. Just like, yeah, it's whatever. We're going to go and, do more Connect stuff or whatever they want to do. And I didn't talk about the HoloLens thing because that's not Xbox related. That's its own thing. And I'll make a whole other video about that in my next VR talk. But yeah, everybody had a great E3 except for, of course, Nintendo. But have to give this one to Xbox over at Microsoft. Let me know what you guys thought at the comment. Of course, if you got hate, go ahead. That's what I'm here to be hated on. I'm on the internet. What do you expect? But be sure to share your opinions down in the comments. Be sure to like the video, liked it, all the good stuff, and be sure to subscribe. You'll hear more from me. I'm gonna have a whole bunch more videos talking about this UG3 because there was so much to go over. It couldn't be done in a video, even if it was a really long one. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching and take care.